Hi everyone, this is the Late Night Connections, a show where we are all about celebrating the power of creativity, diving into the art of building and exploring how actions transform ideas into reality. Through discussions with remarkable guests, we uncover the insider's journey behind crafting ideas, building skills, and what makes thoughts come to life. I'm your host, Jay Bala. Let's get right to it. Today we are joined by Lisa from Shibari Malaysia. Shibari Malaysia stands as Kuala Lumpur's pioneering hub, offering unique blend of rope art classes that transcends traditional Japanese binding techniques. More than just a practice, Shibari Malaysia intertwines the essence of mindfulness, sensuality, and creative expression into its workshops. Rooted in the art of Shibari, which translates to Thai, the class artful weave traditional techniques in a modern context. The aim is to invoke emotions centered around self-love, acceptance, and the creation of space for healthy intimacy, all approached with mindfulness. Shibari Malaysia workshop not only empowers true sensuality, but also redefines the concept of creativity, rejecting set rules, and encouraging a mindful, relaxed approach. The practice advocates for a healthy attitude towards sensuality, recognizing its profound impact on self-esteem and relationships. As Shibari Malaysia's pioneering, this technique intersects the art, mindfulness, and sensuality. It continues to carve out the space for creativity and connection, challenging societal norms, fostering a deeper appreciation for beauty and self-expression. All right, so today I'm wearing a white shirt, my hair is down, I'm wearing a black pants and black shoes. And let's introduce our guest. All right, so Lisa, could you tell us what you're wearing and maybe a fun fact about yourself?
Okay, so I'm wearing a black and white blazer with a pinstriped gray pants
Okay,
with my hair up and silver earrings.
all right, nice. And what about a fun fact about yourself?
Fun fact about myself, I lived on a remote island in Johor
Huh.
for 3 months. That's pretty
Wow.
random.
What
Fun
was that?
fact.
Were you volunteering? Were you camping out?
No, I was working in a little resort.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Nice. So that must have been quite interesting living on an island. Wasn't pandemic times though?
Just after. It was very
Okay.
interesting because it was a jungle and there
Ooh.
was a lot of wild animals everywhere.
What wild what?
Wild animals.
Nice. All right. So thank you for the fun fact. Maybe if other people want to go adventure out, yeah, step out, go somewhere.
Pulau Sibu.
Pulau
It's
Sibu if you'd like
beautiful.
to. Right. Animals and adventure. Okay, besides that, what we're wearing today, you might notice the silent board today is tied up, right? Shibari style. All right, so maybe we're gonna go into questions. Can you tell us a bit about Shibari Malaysia? How did it come to be? How did it become the first hub to actually do rope art classes, focus on mindfulness, sensuality, and creative expression?
Okay, that's quite a loaded question. So, I'll start with how it came to be.
Yep.
It is a pandemic baby, just like a
Ah,
lot of other beautiful creative stuff that have come out of the
nice.
pandemic. It started
Mhm.
as a practice that I would do for myself because I was at home and I was bored. I picked up shibari or rope art, just through watching videos and
Hmm.
at a workshop.
Right.
And I kind of used that to understand myself deeper.
Right.
So that's kind of, I guess, how it came up.
Was it a paid class or did you just watch a
Yes,
video?
it was a class in KL. Actually, there was another class. It was by a visiting artist
Okay.
at Polydextrous Studios.
Okay.
Yeah, which is also a hub at Marika.
Woo! Nice. All right. So you took a class, you learned it, so you had to just watch a video and pick it up all yourself.
No, so I'm like self-taught.
Right.
So I went for a beginner class
Okay.
with my friend who's also here.
Uh-huh.
So we kind of started this journey together. We
Right.
just went for one class, and then after that, it was like, hey, let's just practice, let's just hang out. And instead of like, going to the cafe to hang out and chit chat, we'd be
Right.
like, okay, let's hang out and practice our Thais.
Wow.
So that's kind of how it started.
Not bad. Nice. Did you find a lot of people who was joining this kind of classes? Even your classes, maybe you can tell us a bit about your audience who come for these classes. How's the reception like in that area?
I think people are very curious and very keen. I think it's a word that they have heard often,
Right?
but under different contexts. So they're curious that there are classes because a lot of people, they're like, oh, I didn't know KL has these classes. So
Right.
that's how it started. Like, I wanted to learn more. I wanted to get better, more skilled at it,
Right.
but I couldn't find accessible classes and workshops.
Right.
So then I got to a point where I was like, you know what? Okay, I know enough now that I can share a little bit with
Yeah.
people. And this is just how it is. Like, I wanted more people to be part of this community. I couldn't
Right.
find this community. So I just started doing classes.
Right.
And that's how I feel like, oh, actually, a lot of people are interested.
Nice.
And that's kind of how it grew.
Is there different levels of it? Like,
Oh, yeah. I would say in the scale. So Shibari is a Japanese rope art,
Yeah.
right? It comes from Japan. It is hundreds of years old, or there's varying information about that. But just like a lot of Japanese crafts, people take years and years to master it,
right.
right? So a lot of people, they're doing it for like 20 years or more before they call themselves a master or a sensei, right? So it is one of those arts.
Okay.
On the spectrum
Yeah.
of the skill, I would be considered a beginner,
Okay.
and I'm just starting my learning journey.
Yeah.
But it's instead of like getting to the place of perfection before I like, okay, then only I can teach people.
Yeah.
I'm coming from the approach of like, I'm also a learner,
Right.
but now I want friends with me while I'm learning. So I couldn't find that, so I started hosting.
I mean, that's amazing because a lot of people, you find something you like to learn more of, there's nothing there, right? And then, it's very commendable to see like, you're able to actually start something in your own, in that beginner stage and, like nurture it in a learning progression while everybody's learning together in a way,
Right.
So that's really nice to see. And, I can imagine there's a lot other art forms that don't come to Malaysia at all. And, there'll always be something new that people can learn. And now there's Shibari in Malaysia. All right, so that's cool. I want to find out about the techniques that you have to learn. Because like you said, there's some advanced stuff, and there's some things that it probably takes time. Did you have a point where you tied yourself that you couldn't untie yourself, and so you need to go for help or anything like that? Or how does that work?
Well, safety is a really big aspect of Shibari. So Shibari literally translates to tie,
Okay.
the literal translation in Japanese, and it can be like you're tying objects,
Yep.
you're tying people.
Okay.
As long as you're using rope and tying, it is a form of Shibari,
Right.
right? You have to be more careful if it's people, because then there are pain tolerances involved,
Yeah.
right? And then it becomes a safety issue because what if you're blocking blood flow?
Yeah.
If you're compressing a nerve? So then the safety aspect becomes really important.
Right.
So the classes that I host always starts with the safety aspect. So I wouldn't really like let myself or anyone who doesn't have any idea to just be tied,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of like it's a discussion of trust, right? You are being bound by someone.
Yeah.
You have to trust that person. Are you going
Yeah.
to let a stranger tie you up?
Right.
Depends who you are, but
Yeah.
mostly you want to feel safe, because it's an art that can become dangerous if you put it in the wrong hands,
True.
right? So safety is definitely, I would say, the most important element.
Okay.
How to take care to make sure the blood flowing and all
Yeah.
that, but also I think we talked about like one of the pillars of the work that I do is connection, right? Like
Okay.
human connection.
Yeah.
So for two people to agree to tie each other or be tied, there's a lot of communication involved. There's a lot of like you have to talk about your boundaries, you have to talk about what you're comfortable with.
Right.
So I think it's a really good exercise in communication, which we all can learn more of.
Okay, that's fun. So yeah, there's some aspect of like the word says to tie, right? So and then you can either tie objects or tie a person, right? That's how most of the skills or
Yeah, the
the work.
traditional one
Yeah.
is you're tying people.
All right. So that means, and it's usually you don't tie yourself, you tie somebody else, or is it?
It depends on how you practice it.
Huh.
So the history starts in Japan,
Yeah.
and in Japan, there is a rigger, the person tying and the person being tied, the model.
The rigger and the model.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it moved to the West
Yeah.
at some point, and it evolved in its own way. And I think kind of like every practitioner has their own version, you know. There's a
Right.
little twist with everyone that does it. They put a little bit of themselves in it.
Okay, interesting. Cool. At least we learned a bit of the basics and understanding the concept of it. What is here if there was any like instance or any backlash or some people reluctant to do something during some sessions? Have you ever faced any of those kind of like moments during practicing this past few years?
No,
No?
no.
Okay.
I think like that would be my role as the person hosting the space,
Yeah.
to make sure everyone is comfortable,
Right.
everyone is aware of what is happening. So there's a lot of communication going on.
Wow. Nice. Yeah.
So like the people that are coming to the class also knows what these classes are about, that it's a creative space.
Right.
It's a space to connect with people, like-minded people. So it's not really like you have to be aligned to these values to even come to to be interested in the class, you know.
Right.
So I would say I get like really great students, and really like I've met amazing people through the work I'm doing.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So in a class setting, how many would normally be in one classroom or one workshop in a way?
I would say 8 to 15.
8 to 15, okay.
Yeah.
And how many like trainers or facilitators will be around normally? One.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Very good. So we got a sensei or a teacher here in the house.
No. Don't use the word sensei.
Okay,
That is
practitioner.
reserved for a very like high standard of practitioner.
So we'll give you a few more years, don't worry.
Thank you. Slowly.
All right. I want to find out a little bit about the self-awareness, the sensuality. Do you believe, a healthy attitude towards sensuality contributes to better self-esteem and relationship? And does this come from, the experience or the play with rope and shibari?
Yes. Short answer.
Ah.
Long answer,
Yeah.
I would say, like if we ask the question what it means to be self-aware or to understand yourself, I think I could boil it down to being aware of your body, having the mind-body connection,
Yeah.
and knowing what is going on. When you feel an emotion, can you identify it? Do you
Yeah.
know what you're feeling? Do you know how to process it? Like those are all ways to understand your body better. And
Right.
when you understand yourself better, you can kind of like understand people better as well. I think sensuality is a very natural thing. It is as old as time, as old as humans. And I think different people have different ways to describe what sensuality is. So for me, I boil it down to being sensual is being connected to my senses. So my touch, my scent, hearing, all these senses give us information to what our body is going through and what our body is feeling.
All
So I'm applying ropes to
Yeah.
this practice as a way of getting in touch with my senses.
Right.
So as I feel the ropes on my skin, I'm understanding there's presence there. It
Yeah.
brings me back to my body when I'm thinking about something, I'm stressing, I'm having anxiety. It brings me back to my body because this is happening right now. I can feel it. So I would say that's how I kind of bring it together.
Okay, very nice. I like the whole narration of it all, like it's very almost feels therapeutic and calming. Right.
Okay.
Oh, maybe you
It
are
can
you have that voice of that calmness that it brings to it. Okay. Could I find out a bit about the creative element? I
Mm,
guess there's a lot of play involved, a lot of exploration.
mm.
What are some of the areas that it allows someone to actually go wild or go explore and have these kind of moments during these sessions?
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So, like, you are part of Mareka, which is a creative hub, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, how would you describe creativity?
It's anything. It could be closing your eyes, it could be painting something, it could be just sitting down and
Yeah,
jotting down something could
yeah.
just spark maybe creativity in some way. Yeah.
It's coming up with something,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what it is. You could be dreaming, and that
Yeah.
can be creative
Yeah.
dreaming. So in the same way, it's taking what is structured,
Mm-hmm.
what is known,
Mm.
and expanding that ag- outside of its bounds,
Yeah.
right? Like, as long as I think we are very like our culture is very like structured.
Mm-hmm.
It's very like, okay, you got to do this. If you have 10 tasks to do, you do 10 tasks,
Mm-hmm.
you get it done. But when it comes to creative element, a lot of the times we're not given the space to
Yeah.
express our
And your
creativity.
canvas is always different, like so, like sometimes it's like you're playing paintbrushes, sometimes you're building something,
Yeah.
and this essence like you're playing with rope,
Yeah.
and
I would
also
say humans are my canvas and
true.
the ropes are my brushes.
Aha, okay.
Yeah.
So that's how that element looks like. Yeah, I mean that's how you could actually.
Because you're tying like different people.
Hmm,
So you have to understand this person.
yeah,
It's a different body,
correct. And different
right?
people have got different senses in different
Yeah.
places, even
Some people,
ticklish.
when they get
Yeah.
tied, they feel anxious.
Ah,
Some people, when they get tied, they get sleepy.
wow.
So everybody's body has a different reaction. And for me, it's a privilege that the other person trusts me enough
Right.
to let me be part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow, that's quite interesting to hear. To see how we look at creativity in different areas, right? In different
Right.
ways, even. I like that. I want to ask about how do you teach creativity?
That's an interesting question.
Hmm.
So, as we said before, creativity is something that is different, right?
Yeah.
And it can be kind of hard to pin it down on like how to exactly teach this concept.
Yes.
So, my personal teaching methodology
Hmm.
was created just by trial and experience.
Hmm.
Trial and error.
That's
Sorry,
true. Yeah.
but with experience nonetheless. So how I do it is I kind of break it down, right?
Okay.
Instead of teaching exactly like, okay, for example, let's take this for example, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you came to a class to learn how to tie boards, okay?
What's this called?
Boards, like
Bonds.
just the
Okay.
Mareka board,
Yep.
right? You came to learn how to do this. And instead of teaching you, okay, I started here, and then after that, I pull the rope here. Okay, follow me. Okay, after that, I pull it down. How I teach creativity is I'm going to teach you the elements.
Okay.
Okay, I'm like, okay, this is a type of knot. This is another type of knot. And then I'm going to teach you, like, okay, how do you make sure there's tension in your ropes? Right? And then I'm like, okay, play. Now you do what you want. Right?
Okay.
You come up with your own tie.
Right.
You can look at mine for reference,
Yeah.
but you don't have to create the same thing.
But at the end of the day, you're learning the techniques.
Yeah.
But the outcome might be different in a way.
Yeah. So for me, I find this part of teaching creativity very exciting because you don't get the same result all the time.
Yeah.
And creativity has no bounds. When you give people an empty canvas
Yeah.
and you tell them paint,
Hmm.
like if you give them like, okay, paint an apple,
Yeah.
it's going to be more limited how creative they are than if you just give them a very broad
Yeah.
concept.
Use green color and do something.
Yeah. It can be anything. So for me, I really want to like challenge creativity because I grew up as someone who I thought I was not creative because I can't paint, I can't sing, I can barely play a music instrument, like all these traditional creative things, right?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Right.
So I grew up thinking like, no, I'm not a creative person. I have to go into science stream. And then I was like, oh, I'm doing badly in science stream. This is terrible. I don't know what to do now. So like, this is what I want to challenge.
Right.
Like the creative thing that like anybody can creative, even though you're like the most finance bro in the world, you can be creative.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that it's, something that, you're allowing people to like try in a way. And, like, as you said, fail, that's the best way they can learn even. And also that's how you learned, like through these kind of failures and practicing and doing it again and again and again and like mastering it or like just knowing how to do it. And that also teaches you then how not to do it. And I, in this kind of area, so for sure, as even a teacher, you still learn from your students, they will show you things that you can't do or can do differently. And then you're like, wow, you can still grow and keep on improvising or like building on your experience in that way. Very
Definitely.
nice. Could I find out about, the whole part of Shibari? It's about inclusivity for all types of genders, body types. How does this this technique or this whole Shibari workshop is able to break traditional stereotype and embrace diversity?
I think how I practice it or the art in general, everybody has a different body.
Yeah.
And what we see in the media is often limited in terms of representation. So we think that our body types need to be a certain way.
Yeah.
You need to be a certain height, a certain weight, all of this, right? When it comes to ropes, when you're tying different people, it becomes the task of the rigger, the person tying, to make sure the tie fits that body. Okay. So I have, say, a 10-meter rope, right? If I'm tying someone that is smaller sized, my ties are going to be very intricate, right? I have so much of rope.
Right.
But if someone is bigger sized, I will have less rope. How am I going to, on the spot, think of, how can I change the tie up to make it look the way I want it to?
Yeah.
Right? When it comes to gender inclusivity, there's a lot of people that have gender dysphoria. They grow up with different forms of identity. And each tie, like if you get to know the person you're tying well enough, you will know like maybe certain parts of their body makes them feel confident.
Yeah.
Certain parts of their body makes them feel insecure. And what tying can do is you can help highlight those things, right? So example, you're like, okay, I want a cinched waist. You can tie with a cinched waist. But some people, they're like, oh, I'm actually really insecure about my chest. Can you do a different type of tie? So maybe you do a tie that doesn't highlight the chest as much because they don't want that. So much communication is needed between the person tying and the person being tied.
Right.
Like you really have to like get to know your canvas very well in a way, because you're taking all these things into consideration. And the reason being, if you don't, you risk them being uncomfortable, wildly uncomfortable, and that will be a bad
So
experience
that's a
for
fail,
them.
for sure. Like
I
not
would
a
say,
good.
yeah, if we put the pillar of creativity aside,
Yeah.
now we come into like the tying aspect of connection.
Right.
Then I would say one of the merits I would judge it on is making sure the other person is comfortable,
Okay.
not pushing their boundaries,
Yeah.
making sure they look at themselves the way in a positive light.
Yeah. Because I guess it's two parties also feeling the whole experience in a way.
Yeah.
Which I think I bet a lot of people have got like hundreds of questions wanting to know like what is the whole technique about. But as much as we can answer, you can put your comments in the chat. Maybe we can get Lisa to explain them even more. But maybe to just find out, like I was just thinking, like is there like at the end of it all, like they get a certain amount of rope and they must finish all the rope? Is it like, how do they know when it's done? Like, yeah,
Who?
like the rigger even. Like,
No, it's up to you. If
It's
I
up-
want to cut my rope, I can cut my rope.
huh,
If I want to connect my rope to form a rope that's 20 meters instead of 10, I can do that.
okay.
So, like, if
So
you're
the art piece is art up to the artist and also the canvas in a way.
Yeah.
Because like you said, keep saying it's a communication, right?
Yeah.
So it's not only up to the rigger say I'm done. Sometimes they need to like chit chat together or have that conversation.
Oh, you know, like you
Yeah.
mean when to know when it's done?
Yeah, or like yeah, exactly.
I guess usually when the rope is finished, that's kind of it. But if you finish the tie and you're like, hey, I could add a bit more, then feel free to add a bit more. It's like, how do you know a
Okay.
painting is done?
Yeah.
You can't,
Yeah,
right?
sometimes I think it's done and people still keep going at it.
Right?
Right. And then
It's
it's
the
like,
same thing.
okay.
Yeah.
So it can keep building, but yeah, again, you need to make sure the person you're tying is feeling comfortable. You know, you want them also to feel nice, that they look nice.
Yeah,
And
feel.
then feel nice.
Yeah.
And you know, the rigger also needs to like
Be happy
know
with,
that he's used or she has used or they have used the right techniques that they wanted to explore and stuff also together. So I like the whole conversation. So it's kind of a chatty class also. Like people are actually talking to each other and like doing it. So it's not just this person keeps quiet and close their eyes and then opens and then like ta-da.
No.
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 Very
There's a lot of
conversational.
communication going on.
Okay, fantastic. Could I find out any cool projects that you've participated that you could maybe share or shed some light on?
Sure. I have been doing an ongoing project called Ties That Bind Us.
Ties that bind us. Okay.
Yes. Currently you can find it on Instagram. It's portrait pieces. It's the intersection between rope art and cultural diversity. So what I do is I interview and I tie people, women currently, while they are using their traditional attires.
Oh.
So like a traditional Indian or Malay or just different types of cultural outfit. And a lot of them have like maybe mixed cultures.
Right.
Okay, so my thinking is like, as Malaysians, we are very proud of our culture. I love that for us. We have beautiful culture.
Yeah.
There's another part that is like rarely spoken about, is the part of our culture that holds us back. Certain maybe like expectations or just cultural norms that are unaligned with our modern view, right? So this project kind of explores that on a deeper level of how someone's identity intersects with their cultural identity and how all of this kind of binds us together. A lot of the people I did this project with, actually the answers are so similar. So it's very interesting to see that there's a very it's the same thread that connects a lot of us. Yeah.
No pun intended. I wanted to say a thread that kind connects us together. Very nice. Okay, I want to ask a final question before we go to the game section. Could you share some aspirations for you for the future of Shibari Malaysia? How do you see it contributing to the broader cultural and societal conversations around sensuality and creativity?
So for the future, I would love to see our culture where we are not repressed in shame and guilt with our sensuality. Our sensuality is a very powerful part of ourselves. It connects us to our creativity. In a lot of more traditional Indian texts, like in the Vedas, there's a lot of connection between the chakras of like, you know, creativity and sensuality. So for me, that's also like one of the pillars that connects them together. So I can really see like a society that that is proud and that embraces that sensuality can be a very creative society. So that's kind of my, I guess, my hope for the
Power to Malaysians, power to the
Malaysia.
people in Asia and everywhere else.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts and your points.
Thank you.
We're going to go to the game section. So we got rapid fire and quick draw. Let's go right to it. All right, we're back, and now we're going to try out our game section. Are you ready? Okay. So we got rapid fire. We got about 10 questions. Maybe I might add 11th one. I don't know, but we'll keep it to that, and then we'll see how you do. Okay. Answer as best as you can. What comes to your mind, right?
Okay.
Okay. So to be tied or to tie someone?
To tie someone.
To tie someone. Okay. My ambition when I was a kid was
Hairdresser.
hairdresser. My inspiration comes from
Meditation.
meditation. Okay, that's nice. My favorite type of rope is
Jute.
jute. My favorite cartoon is
Oh, Rick and Morty.
I like to watch it too. Okay, my friends and family think Shibari is
I don't know. I didn't ask them.
okay.
I tried not to ask my family.
Okay, what type of music is good for Shibari?
Female vocalist. Slow, sensual female vocalist.
Okay, to perform live or to run a workshop?
Oh, I guess perform live. I've never done that, and I'm doing it this weekend, so I'm excited.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go. Your favorite weather is?
Cloudy.
If I was an animal, I would be
You? Or me?
You.
Oh, me.
Yeah. If you could be an animal, what animal would you be?
Okay, this is controversial, but cockroach.
Oh,
I have a reason. They are resilient and they will survive an apocalypse.
Okay, but I would throw you in front if I see a cockroach because, yeah, I'm
It's
pretty
okay, I'll
terrified.
survive.
Okay, you'll survive. All right, that is our quick fire round. Great answers. Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you. So now we're going to go with quick draw. So this is time sensitive. You'll hear our producer or project manager Soul screaming time when it's time. So it's got 30 seconds to draw. When I say what is it we're supposed to draw, you can use more than one
Is
colors.
this like Pictionary?
Kind of. There's maybe no. It's a word will be said, and then we have to just draw it. Okay?
So like if she says cat, draw cat.
Yeah,
for
she says
example.
cat, draw cat. Then we'll
Okay.
see whose cat looks dope.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Project manager, so are you ready? Yeah. What's the first one? Oh, I'll say it. Okay. Yeah, I have it here actually. Sorry. Okay, the first one is draw something or someone tied up.
Female vocalist, so central female vocalist. I'm done.
Okay.
Alright, can we just...
That's my... I wanted to do a Doraemon hand, but then it didn't turn out to be that.
I tied the hands up, then I accidentally drew hands.
It looks like a nice, like a woven shirt, like a
Yeah.
dress. You know, not bad. Yes, okay lah. Yes is. I mean, yeah.
I mean, we're both bad, lah. Let's just say that, lah.
I
Let's
know.
just say that.
That's good. That's good.
Looks like they have a lot of jewelry.
Oh yeah. Okay. Next one. Ooh, this is gonna be a tough one. We can dwell. Let's dwell in it for a while. I'll say what it is. We can think about it when we get 10 seconds to think. Draw your inspiration.
Okay.
Okay, you're ready. Okay, I don't know what's my inspiration. I don't know. What's my inspiration?
Is it too...
Okay, Ken. Yeah, okay, cool. I
What?
got one.
You
Phew.
got it already.
I got one. You ready? Okay, hoo-hee-ha. I wanted to say mountains was my inspiration, then I like nature, so I went with river and the sun. But I like the moon also, so I don't know, yeah, but nature, I guess.
Do you know what that is? It's a bit cryptic.
Fibonacci, snail, exo, y. I don't know. Seashell.
I don't know. I also don't know what I drew. But my idea was like life, just like everything in life. So it can be a seashell. I love nature. Can be, I don't know Fibonacci because I hate math. So,
Okay.
but it's a very bad I didn't know how to draw life. So
Okay,
just
not
drew
bad.
something.
Very nice, very nice. Very abstract in a way, maybe even. Cool. Okay, last one. You might win this, but
no.
let's see what happens. We'll dwell in it for like 3 seconds. You have to draw yourself in the parallel universe.
Oh.
That is what we have to draw.
Myself in a parallel universe.
Draw yourself in a parallel universe. We can fast forward a bit. Maybe it'll take a bit more time. Yeah, 1 minute lah. Give us a minute. I feel like parallel universe, like we have to capture the whole universe.
It's like, imagine like everything everywhere all at once. It's like different versions of it.
Okay, she started. Let's go. Alright. I'm wearing an Illuminati hat. In a parallel universe that, yeah, it's full of light, color, and just, that's me sitting down. Yeah, I got my legs folded. Yay.
Nice.
That's mine. I don't know.
Celebrations,
That's like
stuff.
circles
Confetti.
and like tadpoles maybe, or I don't know.
So like frolicking.
Froggy. Okay, yours.
All right.
Oh, America podcast. Oh,
I am currently in the parallel universe. Yeah, I pretty much feel like I'm living in an alternate universe that I get to talk
Wow.
about what I love on a platform. So
Oh,
That's
this
my
is a
parallel.
winner. This is a winner, right? Like we got a winner for sure. All right, that is our show. Before we wrap things up, we always like to pass on a little token. Thank you. Just a little bag.
yes, a tote bag.
More tote bags.
Amazing.
And maybe you can sign us off with your socials. Let us know so that anybody else can follow you, what you do. Take it away. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. All of my work can be found on Instagram at Shibari Malaysia. I also have a Mareka Hub profile at Shibari Malaysia, and I all of our classes are there, all of our events are there, so that's pretty much like a one-stop place to get all the information that you want. There's also like a nice gallery feature which I've been using to like upload my pictures and portfolio. So yeah, nice.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for tuning in. That's the Late Night Connections. My name is Jay. Dream big, build bigger. Until we reconnect. Bye-bye and good night.